The Whispering Temple of Mount Charon, long before kingdoms were carved into maps and history was written in ink, there stood a forgotten mountain known as Charon, hidden beyond endless forest and veiled by mist. Its peak was crowned by a temple so ancient that no one knew who had built it. Travelers spoke of strange lights dancing among the ruins at night, while wandering monks claimed they heard voices whispering in languages older than humanity itself. The oldest surviving legend told of a guardian called the Hollow King. No one had ever seen his face. No one had ever returned and changed after searching for him. For generations, villages surrounding Mount Charon obeyed one sacred rule: never climb the mountain after sunset. Children laughed at the warning, adults never did. Among those villages lived a young historian named Elias. Unlike the others, he believed every legend hid forgotten truth beneath centuries of fear. His small house overflowed with cracked scrolls, faded maps, and fragments of ancient pottery collected from abandoned ruins. One rainy evening, an old woman arrived at his door carrying a wooden chest wrapped in blank cloth. "I have no family left," she said. "My grandfather guarded this until his death. He told me it belongs to someone foolish enough to seek answers." Inside lay a stone tablet covered with unfamiliar symbols. At its center was the image of a mountain. Behind it, carved into the stone, was a single sentence in ancient script: "The temple does not impression evil, it impressions memory." Those words haunted Elias. Within days, he gathered supplies and began climbing Mount Charon despite every warning. The forest surrounding the mountain seemed strangely silent. No birds sang, no insects buzzed, even the wind moved without sound. After hours of climbing, Elias discovered enormous stone stairs buried beneath roots and moss. Every step bore carvings of human faces. Some appeared peaceful, others looked frozen in unbearable terror. As twilight settled across the mountain, the temple finally emerged through the fog. Its pillars stretched toward the sky like broken fingers. Massive statues surrounded the entrance, each missing its head. Black vines crawled across the walls, and glowing blue flowers bloomed between cracked stones. The air smelled of rain and ashes. The moment Elias crossed the entrance, the whispers began. At first, they sounded like distant conversations. Then they became clear: his mother's voice, his father's laughter, friends who had died years ago. Each voice called his name: "Elias, come here. We've been waiting." He knew they could not be real, yet every word felt painfully familiar. Inside the central chamber stood a circular altar carved with a single block of obsidian. Floating above it overhead a crystal sphere that emitted pale silver light. The whisper stopped. An enormous shadow formed behind the altar. Slowly it took human shape. The figure wore a crown made of twisted bone. Its robes drifted like smoke. Where its face should have been existed only endless darkness filled with tiny stars. "You have crossed the threshold," the being said. Its voice echoed from every direction. "I am the Hollow King." Elias struggled to speak. "Are you a god?" The figure remained silent for several moments. Finally it answered, "I was once a man." Thousands of years earlier, civilizations had flourished beneath Mount Charon. Their scholars discovered the force older than life itself, a living consciousness hidden beneath the earth. It possessed infinite knowledge but demanded one terrible price. Every truth learned erased one memory. Kings thought wisdom. Priests thought immortality. Scientists thought power. With every answer, they forgot their families, their names, their history. Eventually, the civilization no longer remembered why it existed. When the final memory vanished, the entire kingdom disappeared from history. Only one guardian remained. He sacrificed his own identity to imprison the ancient force forever. I became what you know called the Hollow King, the spirit whispered. I remember everything and nothing. The crystal sphere suddenly darkened. The temple trembled violently. Cracks spread across the floor. The prison weakens, the guardian said. It awakens. From beneath the altar came a sound unlike anything Elias had ever heard. Not a roar, not a scream. It resembled millions of voices speaking simultaneously. The stone floor shuddered. Darkness poured upward like liquid smoke. Within it floated countless human faces, each opening empty mouths without making a sound. The Hollow King raised one hand. Silver chains made of pure light erupted from every wall, wrapping around the darkness. The creature resisted. The mountain shook outside. Lightning split the sky. The seal requires another memory keeper, the guardian declared. I can no longer hold it alone. Elias finally understood. Every generation, someone had become the next guardian, not by force, by choice. If I help you, Elias asked quietly, what happens to me? You will remember every soul the world has forgotten. You will forget yourself. The answer killed him more than the monsters below. His entire life had been dedicated to preserving history. Now history demanded his own. The darkness broke several glowing chains. Black mist spread across the chamber. Where it touched stone, centuries of carvings instantly faded into black rock. Even the statues outside began losing their faces. Memory itself was being erased. Elias looked at the ancient tablet he had carried. He finally understood its warning. The temple impressioned memory because memory gave identity. Without memory, nothing truly existed. He stepped toward the altar. I accept. The Hollow King nodded. For the first time, the darkness where his face should have been shimmered with something resembling sorrow. The crystal sphere descended into Elias' hand. The instant he touched it, countless visions exploded through his mind. Cities swallowed by deserts, empires erased from existence, children whose names no living tongue remembered, words that had vanished from every book, languages spoken only by ghosts. Every forgotten moment in human history flooded into him. The pain was unbearable. His own childhood became blurry. His mother's face disappeared. His own name echoed farther and farther away until it dissolved into silence. The Hollow King's body began turning into silver dust. My burden ends, he whispered. You are the keeper now. The ancient guardian smiled. Then he vanished forever. The chains brightened once more. The monstrous darkness screamed as it was pulled beneath the mountain. The broken temple became silent. Morning sunlight finally touched Mount Charon. Villagers watching from below noticed something impossible. The mountain itself had changed. The ancient temple had disappeared. Only untouched cliffs remained. When curious explorers climbed the summit days later, they found no ruins, no statues, no stairs, only smooth stone. It was as though the temple had never existed. Years passed, the legend slowly faded. Children stopped fearing the mountain because no one remembered why they should. Stories became fairy tales, maps forgot the name Charon. Even historians dismissed scattered references as myth. Yet every century travelers wandering through thick mountain fog reported meeting a long figure dressed in dark robes. The stranger never revealed a face. Instead, beneath the hood shimmered distant stars. Sometimes the mysterious guardian asked only one question, "What is your name?" Those who answered always forgot why they had climbed the mountain. They returned home believing they had merely become lost. But On rare nights, when the moon turned crimson and silence covered the forest, whispers still drifted across the wind, not threatening, not angry, merely remembering. Some say the unseen guardian continues carrying every forgotten life within an endless mind, protecting humanity from a force that would erase not only history but existence itself. Every forgotten hero, every lost civilization, every unmarked grave lives on in that silent keeper's memory. And perhaps that is why certain places feel strangely familiar, why forgotten dreams sometimes seem more real than waking life, and why people occasionally remember events that never happened. Perhaps those memories do not belong to us at all. Perhaps they are echoes leaking from an ancient prison beneath the mountain. If you ever find yourself wandering through an old forest where no birds sing, and you discover withered stone steps leading upward into an unnatural mist, do not follow them after sunset. For if a voice in the darkness gently asks your name, answer with great care, because names are more than words. They are the anchors of memory, and once the mountain remembers you, the world may quietly forget you ever existed.